Okay, there we go.
Hey.
All right, sorry about
That's
that.
okay. That's okay. I was like, oh my God, what
No,
happened?
Princess family said we not playing, y'all not playing any of his music tonight, so we're just gonna skip clips. I'm sorry, y'all. But if you want to hear these songs in their entirety, go to the link in my bio
Are you
and you can hear them.
serious?
Do this.
They
They
cut
said
us off.
they cut us off, but we back in this thing.
I would pick somebody that's crazy. Just last night they had D Nice playing all of the hits. Include
Well, you
okay.
know,
I
D
don't know
Nice
what
is
to
on a different
I,
echelon.
what are we supposed to do now?
We
I
gonna
can't
talk about it.
I can't believe it. Okay, so America.
Yes.
I picked America because I felt like it's interesting. I'm talking about these times as well. Probably I said all the code words: Black Revolutionary Army, Black Panther. Um, my father was a member of the Black Revolutionary Army, and he was also a DJ. And
Mhm.
so I would play these records. You know, I could hardly pull myself up to the chair to stand on it to put a record on, but I would play these Prince records and Sun Ra and Angela Bofield and Jimi Hendrix and all these records. But this record America, when he did it, Ronald Reagan I think was in office, and there were a lot of different things happening, but ironically some of the same conversations that were taking place back then are still taking place now. And so I picked that song because I have millions of Prince favorites,
Mhm.
because it was timely and that conversation still exists.
Oh yeah.
There's also another record from that time period was Tambourine, which is bananas, and it's just him and
Oh yeah.
percussion singing tambourine, and it's just around the world in a day. Anyway, um, that's why I love America. It sings about the obvious issues. It talks about the ugly. It exposes the truths, and I love Prince for being a truth teller. So
Mhm.
I picked that.
So how did that inspire you as a burgeoning artist to tell your truth?
Um, I've always been the person who's spoken their truth, even when it gets them in trouble. I
Mm.
would say that if there was any record of mine that was most influenced by Prince's America, it's a record that I made that's on the ceremony called Be Real.
Okay.
And I wrote the song. Um, it actually has some years on it. I wrote it back when George Bush Jr. was uh, elected into office. And it talks about being real. Like there's so many people who stand on religion, religious dogma, stand on lots of different things to say they're morally responsible, more so than everybody else.
Mhm.
That they're more deserving of freedom, more deserving of love, more deserving of life. And the lyrics are like, um, if the measure of a man is what he thinks and feels, then why aren't more people real? Haters, infiltrators, liars, skeezers, and what is it? I can't remember the lyrics to my own song today, but it talks about it talks about fake politicians and uh, hoes. And when I say hoes, I'm not talking about walking down the stroll hoes. I'm talking about politicians and
Mhm.
uh, crafty, corrupt policemen and
Mhm.
funky government. And I always felt empowered by Prince's music and the music of others to write those songs. But specifically, Be Real was inspired by America.
Nice, nice. And again, that song is available on your latest album, The Ceremony.
It is the ceremony, my baby.
Yes, yes, indeed. So I apologize in advance, y'all. We are discussing Prince's music tonight. We've got five amazing Prince songs. The first song was America, but we're not gonna play no clips tonight, y'all, because I'm not trying to get cut off. I want to make sure we have this good old conversation here.
I mean, they dropped us like they sliced through that thing like a pound cake fast.
They really did. But it's okay. We're gonna keep it moving. So the next song on your list is International Lover. Yes, indeed. Oh, Sensual Prince. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I really fell for him because as a child of the church, I always felt like making love and its connection was really mysterious and beautiful and spiritual to me from the very beginning.
Hmm.
Even as a child, the mystery of making love and what came from that um, was really exciting to me. It never seemed like something dirty, and I couldn't understand why other people thought it was. and the only person who seemed to understand me was Prince. And so,
Yeah.
and Tina, and I loved International Lover because he's a great storyteller,
Mhm.
and how he sings it when he does this monologue where he talks about him being the pilot for the day and strapping you into the seat, and as a metaphor for how he makes love. And
Mhm.
they can't cut you off from me singing it. So it's, darling, it appears to me that you could use a day tonight, a body that will treat you right.
Mm.
Tell me, baby, am I qualified? And he's done. Ooh, I know it's hard to believe. And then he goes on. It's so sexy, but it's slow and it's blues.
Ah,
And I,
yes.
I fell for it immediately, and so I immediately wanted to cover it. And so I used to cover it in my shows because it's just one of those things where I get to walk out in the audience and lavish somebody the way I know he would have. So
Oh,
I
yes.
love that record.
Make that blood pressure rise a little
Make
bit.
that blood pressure rise. The only thing you can do after you hear that record is go home and make a baby.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So, keeping with that sensual tip, the third song on your list is I Can't Make You Love Me. The standard that so many of us are familiar with, but of course, Prince had to put his spin on it, had to put his stank, his sexy on it. Why did you choose that one?
I chose that because I love Bonnie Raitt. She's actually one of my influences. I love her
Yes.
dearly.
God.
But I really
Yes.
so when I first heard that song sung by her, I think I was in the seventh grade and I was nursing a tender breakup, and it was
Mm.
very very painful for me. And I've always loved hard, and so when I heard Prince's rendition, I felt as if he was speaking to my soul.
Mhm.
Um, those first words about the first thing when you walk into your house alone, in a place maybe that you shared with somebody where you share memories. And she says, and he says, turn down the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices inside my head.
Yes.
Lay down with me, tell me no lies, and listen, I'll, I'll try my best to give up this fight. It's just the tenderness of somebody loving somebody so much that they're willing to lay down and lie with them one last evening. And
Mhm.
it's actually one of the records that influenced a song that I wrote called Drugs that made it onto the ceremony.
I
It
love
was
that song.
um,
I
about
love that
loving
song.
about loving somebody so bad that it hurts to be with them, but it hurts 20 times more to be without them. And
Hmm.
I've known what that type of love is. It is an addiction of the heart. It is something that ties itself so badly to you that sometimes you need to go get Reiki or get hands laid on you to release the very energy of this love that you had. Oh, thank you, Miss Half Pint. You're a queen too, baby.
Hmm.
It's just writing these songs from a place of vulnerability. And I think what I love the most about, hey, Mr. Ashford, that's from the Black uh, Power Network. I just did an interview with them last week. Thank you for showing up and supporting me here tonight.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so important for us to be vulnerable. I'm a bad liar. I've been a bad liar since I was a kid.
Mm.
So, what I learned from Prince and from Prince's writing is to be vulnerable and to be naked.
Hmm.
And that the way that he sung, I Can't Make You Love Me, just okay. I'm sorry that they just let me know where they're going into the studio so I can finish up with you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
what I learned from him, yeah, I'm good. What I learned from him was to never be afraid of upsetting somebody to tell your truth. And
Mm.
I love the way he bled all over that track. And so I
Yeah.
picked it, just him and piano. And then the gentle trickling of, yeah.
Question: do you want to finish in the studio or you good in
Oh,
the
can
car?
I? Do you mind if I go into the studio and finish? You're
Let
going
me
to walk
fix
with
it.
me?
Absolutely not.
Let's walk together.
Yes. Let's
Thank you.
walk and
Say
talk.
less. All
Yes.
right. All right.
Let's walk together. And I'm going to put on my mask because I'm about to be around a whole bunch of people.
Gotcha.
but can you hear me?
I can. Yep,
Excellent. I'm
I
gonna
can
put
hear
it
you.
over my nose so he can actually do his
Right,
job.
we're the proper way. I want nobody
Yes,
in the comments. She didn't wear her mask right.
awesome. And thank you guys for working with me because the grind never stops. So
Listen, it never stops. We have to do two, three things at a
in
time,
the
right?
room. Yes, yes. Um, I'm about to take. What floor are you going to? What floor are you going to? Because if this goes in, it's gonna cut off for me. It'll go. Okay, yay! See, look at Tay.
Awesome.
Okay, so wow,
So let's see.
Ryan,
The official
Ryan.
Dan Carroll asked, "Are there any plans to cover Prince?" I guess he means on recording.
I actually did record a rendition of Little Red Corvette that I have on SoundCloud. I'll send that link to you if you desire to share it. I
Yes.
would love to do YahZarah covers Prince, but there's a lot of drama, as you can see.
Hmm.
We got cut off just for celebrating him.
Right.
But I will say this, and I've always been very grateful. I attributed Prince for nearly 6 years while he was alive, and I've never had his lawyers pull down a cover. I've never had them interrupt anything I've done or make me cease and desist at tributing him. I was really blessed that way, and members of the new power generation would come to my shows, and so I knew he was pleased with me, you know.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful. That's beautiful.
yes, okay, thank you, love. Thank you. Ooh, awesome. Thank you so much. And so, I've always felt uniquely blessed to be one of those people I feel like are in the number where Prince was like, I'm gonna let that girl be. I'm gonna let her
Yeah.
sing songs because it's hard to cover Prince. People get angry because not everybody
Oh,
covers Prince well.
oh yeah.
Um, but it is my intention to eventually do a full record of Prince covers because I feel
That
like
would
I'm
be
the woman for the
incredible.
job.
Oh yeah. That would be incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible. Did
thank
you
you.
ever get a chance to meet him personally?
Yes, I did. I have a funny Prince story, and so
Yes. We need it. We need it.
this one's gonna make you laugh. I also eventually got tapped to actually audition to sing background for him, but I had just gotten pregnant with my son Miles, so that was crazy.
Oh,
I have three really special Prince stories. The first one is when I met him. I was 21 years old, and we were singing at his birthday party at Paisley Park.
hmm,
Wow! First off,
right.
this is my dream come true, since I was 5 years old and saw him a vision in high heels in Purple Rain, and so it was amazing. It was amazing. And so we go to hug each other. Keep in mind, I've been seeing him like all weekend because we stayed an entire weekend at Paisley Park. And by the way, doves do cry like, ow! That's really what they do. He had a gilded cage full
And
of
now we know.
doves. And yes, doves do cry just like that. So finally, it's the evening. I have gone and found me a designer who has made me the most incredible black, because when you're singing background, you got to wear black. Some artists want
Right,
that, and I
right.
had to wear black. But I went and found me a designer who found me the most amazing black, brand of see-through lace. So I had an amazing see-through lace ruffled jumper in the name of Prince. And Erica let me get away with this type of murder for that particular evening. And because
This
she knew how
time you
much
can
I
do it.
loved him this time.
Hmm.
Are you fine fresh on Friday? Um, no, she was always really cool, mostly about that. And I go to hug him because we'd seen each other all weekend. Like I'd gone to his Bible study with Larry Graham. He's reading scripture. I was like, this is everything. Are you kidding? So finally
Right.
we go to hug because we've been seeing each other all weekend. So it's going to be the hug of the century. Like it's been building. And we go to hug each other and we're the same height in heels. And we bang. I mean, not just like hit, but like bang each other in the head.
Are you serious? Oh.
I cry that night for what seems like hours because when it happened, he then goes, he does the patented Prince
Like really?
like
Really?
really girl. But I was like, we the same height. It just so happened that we were so interested in actually hugging each other that neither one of us realized we were going right in for
Oh my gosh, you
and we
headbutted
headbutted.
Prince.
I hope some of that got in my
I'm gonna tag this
skills.
video. YahZarah headbutts Prince.
That's where I headbutt Prince. I didn't mean it. So the next day, I'm arranging vocals for Erica in the studio, which was a dream.
Hmm.
And Domby goes to give him her record. And he's like, oh my God, I really love you. I just want to take your record, blah, blah, blah. And I go to give him mine. I just put out Him. And he was like, oh, I don't take records.
Oh wow.
I
It's
died.
because you headbutted him.
It's
If
because
you
I
hadn't
headbutted
headbutt,
him. You
you
know,
would
he
have been
took it
fine.
personal. He headbutted me. I didn't headbutt him. It was a mutual headbutt. I should have had an egg. This was the headbutt. Like, oh. Um,
Oh my
And
God.
years later, and I'm talking about years and years down the line, I started doing my tribute to him because I loved him so much. You know, you always have
Hmm.
this idea in your mind about what's going to happen when you meet your idol. And it was wild that it didn't happen. But what did happen that weekend there was I ended up arranging Smile Today for Erica in Paisley Park Studios. And, you know, being able at the age of 21 to stop the tape and be like, hey, I think the cadence should sound like this in front of my idol, you know, and to hear him say, wow, that voice. And to
Mm,
have Larry Graham say to me, you're going to be somebody special. He does like you. Don't worry about what happened. You're going someplace. And that
that's
was
crazy.
really, yeah, that was really, really special. And then years down the line, I'm tributing him. And, you know, you can go all over the internet and find YahZarah covering Prince. He never let them take it down. He never went after me. He let me be myself. And then down the line, I ended up becoming friends with Kat Dyson, who was a member of the New Power Generation, who
Hmm.
actually played on Beautiful User and Running, and was actually going to bring Beautiful Ashes to Prince. But he passed away before we could get together for him to hear it and be on it. But that would have been a dream
Wow.
come true for me. But to be that close and
Hmm.
to again covered him for 6 years, I never got a cease and desist. Not only never got that, but to look out in the audience and see his band members and then being like,
Yeah,
cool. And to know that he was aware of me and that he was good means a lot.
that is amazing. So, really, in one weekend, you got thumbs up from so many people, from Prince, from Larry Graham, from Erica, of course.
Hmm.
You know, just to have that sort of endorsement, and later on from Lenny Kravitz, to
Yeah.
have these greats at what they do say that you are great at what you do.
Yeah.
How did that boost your confidence?
Um, you know, I've always believed this is a gift given to me by God, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes things come out of me vocally that I know I do not have any control over. And so I've just felt like, you know, when my mother found out she was having a baby, she was told she couldn't even have children, and she found out that she had hands laid on her like any good black woman is gonna do. And it was said at that moment that I would be a musician. They said she's
Yeah,
gonna be a musician. She's gonna be a muse. She's gonna make music for the rest of her life. It's gonna touch the world. And so I think I've always operated in my life with the supreme knowledge that I'm here for purpose. And I never had to seek out an audition. It never happened that way. I never looked for
mm,
Erica Badu for an audition. It found me. I never looked for Lenny Kravitz. I got a call one day that for 6 months they'd been looking for me. You know, Elvis Costello, I got a call. I go out there to you know, LA. They keep me when they really wanted somebody from LA. They'd fly my behind out from New York. You know,
wow.
I also think that being sane, being kind, being good at what you do, and being yourself. Yes, yes, Miss Half Pint. Being yourself is never overrated.
Yeah,
Never. You know, I'm the artist that prays for others. I'm the person that checks up on other people. I I'm not the artist who's so afraid of what's going to happen if I light another person's candle, that mine's going to go out. And I think that that's come to bless me over the years. It's why I'm still here, because I'm not afraid of anybody taking shit from me.
that was a whole message right there. I hope y'all caught all of that.
Thank you. I mean, this industry breeds insecurity.
Oh yeah, for
It
sure. It feeds
makes,
on it.
yeah, it has this ideal that only certain numbers of us are going to make it, especially black folks who make alternative music. You
Yeah.
might not even get heard. I remember people saying, you know, I really love this girl's voice, but you have a light skinned girl who sounds like this. You know, I know
Mm,
what people deal with, but I'm telling you, your gift will make room for itself. Even right now, sometimes I'm frustrated at the numbers for my record, you know, and I want it to be
yeah.
more and I want more to be happening. But I dropped a record in the middle of a pandemic after 10 years of not having one out. So now it's about walking in faith and
Yeah.
continuing to spread the gift and not worrying about who sees you while you're doing the work, but just continuing to do the work. That's
Hmm.
it. That's what
That's
we
it.
got.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
For those of y'all counting, we've been through three Prince songs. One, two, three. Make sure I can count. We've got two more on the list, but I'm going to pause for a minute to give you some flowers personally.
Thank you.
As an artist myself, you have inspired me. I had heard of you before this, but the first song of yours that I heard and experienced myself was, Why Don't You Call Me No More? And I was like, I
Ah,
love just her energy.
thank
I
you.
love her energy. It
I
was,
wrote that
as you
song for my
mentioned, it
prom
was,
date.
are you serious? But that's the way it felt. It felt really pure and sort of innocent, an innocent kiss off, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
It had this alternative rock energy to it, which is always a thing for me. But to hear that come from a black woman, a deeply brown skinned woman,
Thank
who could
you.
easily sing all the soul stuff, but you decided to do what was true to you in that particular song. And
Thank you.
that really resonated with me.
Thank you so much. I've always been a rocker in my heart. I
Mm.
just want to be able to sing all the music I love without a wall around it. And when Fonte brought the record to me, he was like, I want to help you make a rock record because I know you love him so much. So let's just start writing. And it was great. I hope you're happy or whatever.
Yes, that's
I
my
hope you're
favorite
happy
line. On
or
second
whatever.
thought, not
I
really.
meant that shit. I hope you have a little girl. And somebody wows out on her like you did at the Waffle House during our prom date. You got me
Not the
fucked up.
Waffle House.
I'm sorry, no, it was IHOP. It was IHOP. He was
Okay, okay.
playing around with some girl underneath the table with me sitting
Oh,
across from him.
ah.
And they had a car accident, almost killed me. So yes, I was like, I hope you're happy or whatever. But we're friends now.
Mm.
He knows I love him to death. But still, I
Okay.
hope you're happy or whatever. So I'm glad you enjoyed that song. I think, hey Calvin. Oh my gosh. I think what's dope about music is that, for me in my real life, I'm not the person who like just pops up and cusses people out and does things like that. But I get to say certain things that I don't get to say out in real life out loud in my
Oh yeah.
music. Yeah, yeah. I was
Hmm.
actually saying I think I want to start like a ratchet Twitter where I get to say all the ratchetry that I don't get to
Oh
say
yeah.
in real life.
Oh
That
yeah.
YahZarah may
Absolutely.
not say publicly, but all the things that I be saying that I be wanting to be
Right.
saying.
Right.
I'm so
Just
glad you
tweeted under
like
an
that better.
alias nobody knows. Nobody
Yes, I gotta
knows.
find the most ratchet alias name. They're like Peaches, something really just corrupt and funny. I have to
I
figure it out.
love it. Well, when you figure that out, just DM me so I can follow you because I need to keep up with that.
I promise. Or Bizarro YahZarah, like Bizarro, like Bizarro Superman, and see what
I mess with
happens.
it. I mess with it.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed. Bizarre YahZarah. I love it.
yeah. I
And
promise
again,
that's what
before
I'm
we
doing.
move on, I have to say that your cover of "Come Back as a Flower" is stunning,
Thank you
stunning,
so much.
stunning.
Thank you. My mom and Sarita grew up together
Oh
in
wow.
Pennsylvania, and they were rival singers, and they used to fight all the time. And Sarita cut a whole hunk of my mom's hair off when they were kids. Up
Oh
to here, they
no.
used to beat the crap out of each other, and my mom loved her. And when she passed away, I want to say in 2009, it really
Hmm.
hit her hard. And I always wanted to remake "Come Back as a Flower." So Nate Smith and I, Grammy Award winning Nate Smith and I,
Yes.
sat down and we produced the track together. And I'm so glad that people un- felt what we were doing, our rendition, but I also wanted to be respectful of what Sarita and Stevie's original ideal was. And it just came out really magically. It really did. And I'm so glad that you feel it.
When
That's
I tell you, I feel every bit of the magic in that song from the very first time I heard it. You know, as a appreciator of music,
yeah.
there are certain songs that hit you that very first time, and you're like, wow. And then every subsequent time after that, it hits you again.
Yeah.
Your
That
version
Secret
of
Life
that
of
song
Plants
does that.
though. That Life of Plants album is
Bananas.
like, y'all, look, if you all have not downloaded and sat for a while with Secret Life of Plants. It's such an underrated record. It deserves
Hmm.
so many of our flowers, and you have to hear it. And it's like Black Orchid, Black Orchid, and consecrate their eyes. Just so many beautiful. Send one you love with 1,000 roses. Make sure that she knows this with a flower from your heart. All that Secret Life of
Mm.
Plants. Like, get in your life and get some of that Secret Life of Plants. I love that record so much.
Yes. So that is the homework assignment, y'all, from YahZarah. Get into The Secret Life of Plants by the Stevie Wonder.
Yes, it was
Yes,
supposed
yes,
to be a
yes.
film that didn't
Ah,
come out. Yeah, and that was the soundtrack for it. A Seed as a Star was supposed to be the credits, and yeah, it's something special.
oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. So from one legend back to another, we're going to transition back to Prince.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Water. Yes. Thank you, man. Okay, awesome.
Yes. Okay, you good?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So song number 4 on your list, which I had not heard before, but I fell in love with it doing research for this. The Cross by Prince.
Yes.
Don't drink
I
this.
will not drink the Florida water. Thank you. They brought me some water. Some Florida. Yeah, I need my Florida water before I get it on. All right.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Lord, I don't
Bless
wash.
the space. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Yes, the cross.
Yes. So
I
why'd you choose that one?
Well, I actually think that when you listen to Prince's music, he was actually a psalmist and
Mm,
a maker of very sacred music. And I picked it because it's one of the most sacred songs that people know and don't know of
hmm.
his. And I love it. I also had an opportunity to help Lenny Kravitz cover it at the induction of Prince at the National Rock Hall of Fame when they
Oh, how
inducted him
special.
right after his passing. And it was just really beautiful. I've covered it before, but it was really beautiful to be a part of that, singing with Hezekiah Walker's choir. And I thought it was really telling that Lenny used a black choir because rock and roll music belongs to us. Rock and roll music is a gift that we gave to this world along with everything.
That part.
Everything.
Hmm.
Everything
She said
you
everything,
got
and she ain't leave
from
nothing out.
us.
Hmm.
Everything. God bless y'all. And so um the cross is just one of those beautiful songs. It's just simplistic. It's nothing but guitars, and then it opens up with this, like, defiant drum, and it gets big. And to me, it's like this thing, it's like he's going through this dark night of the soul, and then he finds himself at the cross,
Yeah.
and then I start thinking about that. He says, um, long days, lonely nights, no, no peace, no hope in sight. One day he is coming. Don't stop yourself from knowing the cross. This idea
Yes.
that dark shit happens, but there's some place at the top of a mountaintop that belongs to us all where we are safe at the cross. And we hear those in different verses. At the cross, where I first found the light, and things all the way. It's whenever I listen to Prince, when I listen to Let's Go Crazy. Let's Go Crazy is just simple church. It's shout music.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
For sure.
He was a church kid. He was actually a member of the Pentecostal church at
Hmm.
that. And you can hear it in everything he does. That's why there was always this religious stream of consciousness through all of his music. And the fact that he understood that sex and love and God are one entity within the same,
Yeah.
one blessed trinity of their own, it just spoke to me. And that's why I picked the cross.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you did because it introduced me to that song. So
Yeah,
thank
man,
you.
get your life. There's so many. I'm gonna send you a whole list of like his sacred music.
Please.
Yeah, like I use it as a meditation, and mm, yeah, I love him. I wish that we had got a chance to actually sit together, but I believe that our ancestors are never far from us, and when I
Mhm.
cover him, I feel his presence near.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Oh my gosh. So the last song on your list of 5 Prince songs is Mountains. Why'd you choose that one?
Yes. Okay, so I love Wendy and Lisa. Um, as a fellow tomboy and a queer woman, it just what they did for music and for the world, just simply being themselves, was everything.
Hmm.
And when I saw Lisa sitting there in this video with her legs crossed, looking so beautiful and butch, with this sitar sitting between her legs, just killing it while Prince was being who he was just
Yeah.
everything. But also the idea, especially right now, I also picked songs that I felt would be an upliftment to other people presently. It's only
Hmm.
mountains and
Mm.
the sea, you know. Um, Love's only greater if we just believe. Imagine the idea that all that we need, all of our source energy, all of it, despite the heck that's going on, what's going on, can be, what's the word? I want to find the perfect word. Dispelled with the simple acts of love and trust within yourselves. You could be surrounded on every side, but the act of love and remembering that love not only for yourself but others, and your ability to pull yourself up, because love's energy doesn't always just make things happy. Sometimes it just gives you that push that you need to move forward. And when he's
Yeah.
talking about this person who was always lonely, and eventually he found out it's just only mountains and the sea. It's only shit.
Hmm.
Love can conquer if I just believe, if I just keep remembering, despite the fact that they shoot us in the streets without provocation, the fact that our ice always has to be colder, that I have to have a perfect record when other white men don't. If I just continue to believe in the power of transformative love and speaking my truth, then maybe this world that I seek will be. It's only a
Hmm.
mountain I got to climb. It's only a sea I have to cross, many rivers to cross, but I can get there. And that's why I love mountains.
Mm. So it sounds like you were able to pull very personal inspiration from that message,
Oh,
and it
definitely.
relates not only to your career but also to your life as a person.
Absolutely. But also our lives as people. I think that's why folks love Prince so much.
Yeah.
Because he spoke to us, and he wasn't pretentious. He was guttural, and he was
Mm.
dirty, and he was
Mm.
beautiful, and he was sexy, and he was a god and a
Mm.
goddess. And as a person who, in my own life, exemplifies the divine masculine and the feminine really well,
Hmm.
I feel tied to somebody who lived their life for that type of truth, and then shared what he knew with other artists so that they could not be enslaved by an industry that does seek to have you chained to it if you don't know what you're doing. Um, had the pleasure of being in space with people who loved him, like Lenny, who when he passed, let me hold his guitar and his tambourine, and he would have let me wear his shoes for a little while, but my feet are too big. And I just love everything about him. There are other artists I have
Hmm.
sincere love for too, but nobody whom I've connected with in the way that I connected with Prince's music and his words and his mission to just be himself and to heal in space. Like, we all know he wasn't like super friendly to everybody, but being an extroverted introvert, I understand that. I don't really do people too tough. That can be, you know, taken in
I
any
get it.
number of ways. He was
Hmm.
everything we all are: insecure, afraid, short,
Hmm. Hmm.
but a god.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. He exemplified every human emotion, and that's why I love him, and that's why I love his music. And one of my sisters who and loves him just as much as my sisters in love is Tika. With love, Tika. If you do not know who Tika is, out of
Hey,
Canada,
with love, Tika.
you bet to get on her music today. And I got the vinyl you sent me and the CDs, and I cannot wait to listen to them. I just hadn't been in my home in Baltimore, and I cannot wait to play them on my record player. She has her vinyl out, she has her CD. Thank me later. And that's
I'm
another thing.
thanking you now with
Thank me
love,
now.
Tika. Yes, ma'am. I'm following you. I gotta check you all out. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And that's the thing about it. Prince had lots of collaborators. He was never afraid to pick up a candle and light somebody else's.
Hmm.
Whether that was Liv Warfield, whether that was my
Love her.
homegirl who's some background for Anthony Hamilton for some time. Now of a sudden I can't remember her name today. It'll come to me tomorrow. But there's so many singers, so many people whose careers he's reignited. Shaka Khan was trying to figure out what she was going to do next. He did the My
Yeah.
House record with her that brought her back to music. He
Yeah.
was always working it out for Black folk. And I take him as, I want to be his avatar.
Mm.
You understand?
Continue
Um,
that mission, right?
yeah, but there are a lot of different people who I feel like, I think when an artist falls in love with somebody's music, right? And that music makes love with what your incarnation of yourself becomes, and then you and that person produce an avatar of yourself. We're all
Mm.
recycling something that we
Yes.
love. I could do a whole
Yes.
hour on Sly Stone and why I'm his avatar for that as well.
Okay.
Like this music is so much bigger than just its sounds. These people have real lives that parallel with our own. But of all the artists I've known and I've loved, I identify so much with Prince, my fellow Gemini brother. So thank you for letting me
Yes.
talk about him and share his music with you. I could do it all
Oh,
night.
this was incredible. This was incredible. So y'all heard that she threatened me with 5 more Sly Stone songs. Don't make me have to invite you back so we can do 5 Sly Stone songs.
His cover of Que Sera, ooh, when I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what would I be?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Will I be pretty?
Yes.
Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. And then he goes,
What'd she say to you?
Que sera,
Hey.
sera.
Hmm.
Whatever will be, will be. Oh, the future's not ours to see. Yeah. And then
Mm.
he says she's sitting and he goes,
Mm.
Que sera, que sera, que sera. Anyway, that's
Ah,
love, 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 love,
Doris Day could never.
love.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, well, I
Thank you
gotta
so
go.
much. Yes,
I
thank
gotta go.
you. I'm going to let you go, but thank you so much for sharing all of this, for sharing your stories, your energy, this
Thank
list of
you.
5 Prince songs. This has been so special.
Thank you so much. It was so
So,
wonderful. I needed it was
oh
the
my
it was the
gosh.
warm up I needed before I go write my own. So thank
Yes,
you. Thank
go
you so
create something amazing. In the meantime, tell
much.
people real quick where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube if you want to look at my live shows. I'm on Bandcamp. I have a live album I did in Paris while I was on tour with Madonna, at the illustrious T. Michael Bergen's flagship store in Paris.
Mm.
That's exclusively on Bandcamp, but I will be doing a full-on release of that within the next 3 months with vinyl and the whole nine. You can
Awesome.
get the ceremony on Amazon Music. You can hear it on Tidal. You can hear it on Spotify. You can grab it on Apple Music. You can buy it, a copy of it, a hard copy on Amazon. Um, you can get it everywhere. I'm really blessed that I've been able to get it to the outlets I want to and spread the word, because people won't know without you that this record exists, and that's the biggest gift you can give me.
Yes, word of mouth, you guys. Well, YahZarah, thank you so much for joining me for 5 songs that changed my life. This has been amazing. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you come back for the next edition of 5 Songs That Changed My Life. Go create amazing music.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
and thank
night.
you for the music that you create, Jason.
Thank you.
Ooh,
Thank you.
I'm
More is on the
crazy.
way very, very, very soon.
Yes, please let me know how I can assist you in your purpose. Okay,
Bless you. I
I
will
will.
do that.
Awesome. Y'all
Absolutely.
have an amazing night. Okay,
Have a good
love
night.
somebody. Bye.
Bye, y'all.